I don't know what to do for a cool intro. You like jazz? Hello everybody, my name is Kingnusmi. I know in my last video I said that my next video was going to be Night of the Living Dummy. I lied. I am still working on that video. I want it to be a good video. I'm sorry I want to make good videos for you guys, okay? I'm sorry I want to be good for you guys, okay? But I did get a comment on my last video that was like, I thought you were the Haunting Hour guy. You haven't made a Haunting Hour video in 4 weeks. You're right. What kind of Haunting Hour guy am I if I haven't made a Haunting Hour video in 4 weeks? And I also have a fan that comments on pretty much everything I do named Andre, who asks for my robot every single time. Sometimes more demanding than others. I'll do it for you, Andre. I'll do it for you. And with that being said, I do want to say something else. I'm gonna get a little bit serious here for a second. I am one person. I work on these videos. I script these videos. I edit these videos. I sit down and watch the episode or episodes multiple times to think of jokes and things to say. I know you guys would like to see your favorite episode of whatever show, but I physically cannot do more than 1 video a week. I can maybe do 2 if I work very hard and quickly. I'll get to your favorite episode one day. Just please be patient with me. I'm trying my best. We start the episode by meeting one of the main characters, Phillip. And Phillip is participating in a science experiment at school about electricity. So Phillip has his hand on this metal ball that sends static electricity through his body and makes his hair stand up. Kind of looks like Lewis from Meet the Robinsons. Like, that's not even like a roast or a joke. Like, he just looks like him. If there was like a live action Meet the Robinsons, they should make this guy play Lewis. The teacher asked the class a question, but nobody wants to give it a shot. Well, no one but one person, Boyd, and that's Phillip's bully.
What this demonstrates is that Phillip can look even more like a dweeb than usual.
Ain't no way you're calling Phillip a dweeb when you got that Ludwig ass haircut. But luckily, Boyd gets his karma.
I love the hair.
See, if you'd pay attention in class, you'd know how electricity works, and you'd know that if you touched him, you would have gotten shocked. And in class, Boyd got a little bit embarrassed, so after class, obviously, he blames Phillip for him getting embarrassed. And we meet our other main character, Tim. See, Tim is a nice guy. He comes up to the bullies and tells them to stop picking on Phillip. He didn't do anything wrong. But, of course, they don't.
I had to punch your nerd face.
And Phillip warns them to not hit him.
Gonna do something about it?
I won't, but my robot will.
Yeah, he does sound a little crazy when he says that. Apparently, his robot is super protective and will kill anybody that messes with him. And the bullies don't believe him.
Quit lying.
Tim tries to help Phillip by telling the bullies he's just joking about the robot stuff.
Right? No, he's totally real.
Phillip claims that he bought this robot off the internet and he had to put it together himself. Tim tries to talk to Phillip and tell him that nobody's gonna believe you about the robot. Luckily, a teacher comes around and makes the bullies leave him alone. And Tim interrupts him and says, just lay low. The bullies will stop messing with you if you just keep a low profile. And later that day, Tim gets a weird message thanking him for helping Phillip from Phillip's robot. And the next day at school, Tim confronts Phillip for pranking him by sending him a fake email thanking him from his robot. But Phillip doesn't know what he's talking about and gets a little freaked out about what's going on. Phillip takes Tim outside and demands that he tell him what the email said exactly. And then followed that by saying,
He contacts you again, don't answer.
Then they hear a weird noise. Kind of sounds like an elephant farting. Tell me that's not an elephant farting. Phillip grabs Tim and they run and go hide in the janitor's closet. Why do all these kids hide in the janitor's closet? I feel like that'd be like the first place I'd look for kids hiding. Phillip tells him that that sound is very similar to the sound his robot makes when he's walking. And the robot might be secretly watching them to make sure that they're not getting hurt. And that's when the robot walks up to the door and... Oh, never mind, it was the janitor. Now Tim is pissed at Phillip for lying about having some freaky robot and then angrily walks back to class. Little do they know, somebody saw the whole thing. And later that day, Phillip apologizes to Tim about lying about the robot and then awkwardly walks home. Okay, I'm gonna say it, I can't take it anymore. The kid looks like SpongeBob. Tell me he doesn't look like SpongeBob. Look at him. You can't tell me that small boy isn't SpongeBob. That felt good. That felt good to get off my chest. Anyways, Tim follows Phillip home and peeks in his window to see that Phillip does in fact have a robot. Oh, well, maybe he doesn't. Never mind. No, he definitely has a robot. Luckily, Phillip saves Tim from certain death for now. Tim decides to hang around for a little bit and chill out with the robot. And Phillip warns him to not get too close. The robot really doesn't like people in its personal space. So obviously Tim tries to touch the robot.
I told you.
Good lord, that dude's quick. That robot's gonna get whiplash. Then the robot kindly demonstrates to Tim what will happen if Tim tries to touch him once again. and something tells me that he's not too fond of Tim. We learn that the robot makes Phillip a smoothie every day because he's read that this certain smoothie is really healthy for people. What's in that smoothie anyways?
Kelvin liver.
Ew, what the fuck? It's not that serious, bro. It's not that serious, damn. It's not that serious. It's a smoothie. It's just a smoothie. You don't have to kill me. It's just a smoothie. Once again, Phillip saves Tim from total annihilation and drinks the disgusting smoothie. To be fair, the robot does just want Phillip to be healthy and safe, which is cool, but he just does it in a really intense way. And the smoothie isn't even the worst part of the routine.
It's time for my daily aerobic exercises, and then I have to study for exactly 3 hours.
The robot's like one of those parents on the world's strictest parents. If you ever like want to feel better about your parents, go watch an episode of that show. That show fucking sucks. I do not want to be one of those kids. Then Tim pretty much gets kicked out of the house. The next day at school, Phillip tells Tim a little bit more of the rules. He has to eat this wonderful meal for lunch every day. He's not allowed to have junk food. He's not allowed to watch TV unless it's educational, and he's not allowed to ride a bike because they're too dangerous. And apparently when he first got the robot, it was very helpful. It did his chores and his homework and other things, but since it uses AI to learn, it started to learn things from the internet, and then it started to read things, and then it discovered that in the long run, to help Phillip, it needs to make Phillip do his own things. And Tim gives Phillip a pretty simple solution to this. Just say no. But just hearing that phrase makes Phillip nervous enough to where he has to just get up and leave. And apparently the last people that told the robot no were his parents. The robot thought the parents were bad influences, so it did what it had to do to them. Just kidding, they're just scared of it and refuse to come home, so they just abandoned their child with this evil robot. Good parents. The boys try to come up with a plan to possibly reset or shut down the robot. We learn that the power switch is underneath the buttons on the front of him, but the robot won't let them get close enough to press the button. And they can't just sneakily go up to the robot because, well, the robot won't let them get close. So how are they going to somehow shut down this robot? Tim offers a pretty smart plan. What if they just shock the robot? Which is very smart because computers are super sensitive. Even a little bit of static electricity is anywhere on your body when you're building a PC, you can fry the whole thing. It's awesome and not terrifying when you're trying to build your PC. It's like so intense that people buy bands just so they don't do that. It's crazy. So they make up a plan where they can somehow shock the robot, but they need somebody that's a little stupid to join in with them. But who's dumb enough to join them in this plan? Cut to the robot waiting for Phillip to come home. And it looks like Phillip is running late. Needless to say, robot goes out to find him. And back at the school, we learn that the bullies do agree to join in with the plan as long as Phillip does their homework for a week. And Tim wonders if the robot would even show up and how it would know where Phillip is. And Phillip just assures Tim that he will show up and he does in fact know where I am. And he was not kidding either. Tim goes into the hallway to find the robot is in fact in the school, and the boys go on with the plan. The bullies and Phillip stand outside the science room door and they pretend to beat up Phillip while he just calmly yells, "Help! Help! Please help!" And the robot almost instantly finds him as fast as he can with this walking speed. And when the bullies see him, they think the robot is so cool that they completely just drop the plan to go fuck with the robot. And this is when Boyd makes the stupid decision of touching him. And he promptly gets his head ripped off and thrown across the school. Okay, that was a lie. They just shock him a little bit and then they run away. But now the other boys are pissed because the bullies ruined their plan to reset the robot. And they still have to find a way to get the robot shocked. Also, you can see the actor in the robot suit in this scene. You can see his face through the little mesh that they put on the visor. It's very funny. I think it's very goofy. As it's going to help Phillip, the robot scans the room for information. And it learns pretty quickly, honestly, that it's in danger and then slowly backs away. Luckily, Tim had a backup plan. They just put the robot on a dolly and push him all the way. Well, that didn't work. The robot grabs onto Tim, and I guess to try and hurt him, but the boys use what they learned earlier in the episode to grab onto each other to shock the robot. Which actually shuts him down. Oh no. Oh, okay, good. It's just a factory reset. Like a nice, respectable person, Tim introduces himself to the robot first. Yes! which was a big mistake. Now that Tim told the robot his name, Tim is now responsible for the robot. And Phillip was hoping this would happen. So now Phillip lost one of his only friends, but he doesn't care because now he can go home, watch TV, eat junk food, and see his parents. We also learned in this moment that the bow tie he's been wearing this whole episode was actually a tracking device so the robot could find him. And now Tim has to find a way to get rid of this robot. And that's the end of the episode. It's a pretty good episode. It has like a nice twist at the end. I didn't expect it, that's for sure. And if you rewatch the episode knowing this information now, you can kind of tell that Phillip is manipulating Tim a little bit. He just does a few things that kind of doesn't make sense, and he really pushes the agenda that he has a robot. He does not shut up about it the whole time. And speaking about the robot, it looks like a SpongeBob villain. They put like green screen SpongeBob shit. It looks like one of those. Like, how do you have something like the Dreamcatcher or like even Big Yellow in Mascot, Lily D? They have all these really cool costume designs this whole time, and then they have HVAC unit on legs. Like, what is that? Other than that, it's a pretty fun episode, honestly. It's not very scary, in my opinion. It's more of just a sit back, have fun, watch a little silly tale kind of thing. I personally don't think robots and AI is scary, but some people might. Let me know what you think about the episode in the comments below. Also, I have a Patreon. The link will be down in the description, so please go join that if you want to support me. Still not sure what I'm going to use it for yet. Maybe I'll post videos a day early there for my little patrons, so I don't know, it might be worthwhile. That is all I have for you today. Like the video if you liked the video. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you all, and peace.